So I want to say a word of welcome to everybody that's coming through and hanging out today. Think about this. Think about this. Your concept that you've come up with for your brand, your show, your channel topic, whether it be entertainment, maybe it's reaction, maybe it is the how to, maybe you're training, maybe it's finance, maybe you're in the counseling space, right? You're actually helping people, figure out some of the things that are happening in their mind, go through some of those events that punctuate their life, that make up their story, that literally contribute to the fabric of who they are. Maybe you're in the relationship space. I have a coaching client that actually is in the relationship space. As a couple, they coach other couples. Whatever you are using content to do, funnel clients to your business, establish yourself as a thought leader in a given space. Maybe you're growing an audience. Whatever space you find yourself in, there are opportunities for you to be sponsored. There are opportunities for your content to have a partner who wants to undergird it with financial resources. This was the topic of our masterclass this past Friday, and Justin Moore was our guest presenter, and he shared a metric ton of value. And I want to go through some of my notes with you. My first question to him was, what are some of the myths about landing a sponsor? All right. What are some of the myths about landing a sponsor? We talked about several myths. There's no one person or gatekeeper. There's no one person or gatekeeper. There's not somebody that's there saying, if I find that person, then that person's going to put me on. This is reminiscent of one of our morning motivations where we talked about it's not about who's going to let me, it's about who's going to stop me. And it's that kind of energy, that thing that says, I am the one I have been waiting for. And I will give myself permission to bust down those doors, to change the status quo, to knock on that window, to send the email, to make my presence known so that these brands can sit up and take notice. I love that point. Another myth that he shared was that brands don't have it figured out. They don't have it figured out. They don't have it figured out, but they do have the money. They do have money. They have marketing dollars that they want to use to organically and in a very real and tangible way get in front of people who could be affected by their product or services, but they don't know how to do it. They don't have it figured out. That is a myth that we were able to dispel. Second question that we talked about was, what are some must-have mindsets to be successful going after brands? And one of the top ones, I'm not even going to touch any of the others, is curiosity. Are you curious enough? Not just money. Is that if money is your driving force, when you sit down in that meeting, money isn't going to be the thing. Money's not going to be the difference maker. Curiosity might be, though. What if when you say to that person, let's get on a call. Let me help me to learn some of your objectives. What are your this quarter's goals or your annual goals? It's not about the brands you love and use. It's about what your audience has an affinity for. This mindset of curiosity, that really helped me. Oh man, I've been ruminating on that one for a while. In fact, I'm going to stick for today, and I've got some questions for my audience today. I want to lock in with you guys and figure out some things, because in this particular answer, he talked about understanding the psychographics of your audience. What are their problems? What does their day look like? What are they dealing with on a day-to-day basis? What keeps them up at night? What are their roadblocks? It's great for us as content creators to know our audience so well that we just don't know the surface level reason why they've come to our content. We know 5 levels deeper, because we've asked them questions that give us a window into who they are. We asked him to walk us through the cycle, and he shared with us 8 The 8-step sponsorship wheel. It starts with the pitch. You got to make a pitch. Then we go into the negotiation phase. It's a little back and forth. Oh, what if you do like this? Well, can we use it in perpetuity? Yeah, maybe 2 months. No, okay, we do 4 months. We're going to do one video, maybe 4 videos, maybe a couple of shorts and reels. There's some negotiation there. But once we've finished the negotiation, now it's time to have a contract. Now it's time to put it in writing so that everybody's on the same page. And then once we have a contract in place, we put all of that aside, and now we get into the concept. What is the actual video gonna look like? What's the content gonna look like? What is that concept? And then once we have the concept, we can produce it. Then we get into that feedback loop. There's going to be feedback that you get that the brand has never gotten before. Do you share that feedback? Good and bad? Do you go and do the homework to understand why this was successful, why it wasn't successful? You publish your content and then you analyze the results. Those were the 8 steps on his sponsorship wheel that we can use to go through this creator sponsor cycle. There was a quote that was shared: I never lose, I either win or I learn. I never lose, I either win or I learn. I never lose, Mandela says. I either win or I learn. I win or I learn. And I would submit that if you learn, you won. So regardless of the outcome, you win. In our 4th question to him, we talked about sharing a brand story. And he talked about this collab paradox. What if you applied collaboration not just to your content, but to the financial stuff? What if you didn't keep banging your head against the wall to try and figure out what you don't know, and just admit that you don't know it and collaborate? Get into a community, get into a coaching scenario, bring in your own version of the Avengers so that you can be successful at what you hope to be providing to the world. What if you could figure out ways to be flexible and nimble in what your concept of sponsorship and collaboration looked like? So that if it turns out that it's completely different than what you expected, you're still okay. You're still okay. Those are some of the things that we talked about in the masterclass. But today I really want to hone in on question number 2, where I was asking him, what are some of the mindsets? And one of the things that he shared with us is that we as creators need to have a healthy understanding of the psychographics of our audiences. Yeah. And if, in case you thought maybe he's completely made a pivot from what we've been talking about, maybe he's completely turned off of the story road and he's gone to this sponsorship thing wholesale. No. Understanding the psychographics of your audience not only helps you for branding, not only helps you for sponsorships and brand deals. Understanding who your audience is phenomenal, is a phenomenal place to start with storytelling. And I'll just give you this working definition that we've been grappling with for the last month and change. Storytelling is the art of sharing a narrative with an audience through language, movement, or vocalization. It can be done in many mediums, including spoken word, written text, film, music, or dance. Storytelling is a social and cultural activity that can be used for entertainment, it can be used for education, and it has definitely been used for cultural preservation or to instill moral values. Storytelling can help people find common ground, empathy, and understanding. It builds connections. Storytelling can help create emotional connections with an audience, which can lead to brand loyalty and sales. And that, my friends, is what we want to dive into today. And as we get ready to begin, I know this is going to become a shocker to some of you, but as we dive into our time today, I want to say a word of prayer. Just bow your heads or tune out. It's okay. God, I thank you so much for your love, your grace, and your mercy, and for the 18 people who are on this live stream with me right now, today. And I thank you for this coaching corner in the middle of the week. This time where we pull aside from the cares, the stresses, the strife, the hustle, the grind, the appointments, the tasks list, all of the things that are pulling at our attention. We pull aside for just a moment to gain clarity on what it is that we are working towards, to fine tune our strategy so that we can get back into the fight with a renewed vigor and a sense of belonging. God, bless us to this end, we pray. In the matchless name of Jesus, amen and amen. Oh my. This has been already a phenomenal time. I see 22 people are on the live with us today. My moderator, Tracy, says, man, lots of good people hanging out with us today. My name is Kirk Nugent. I also go by the Geek Speaker Preacher, and it is the calling on my life to help creators find and use the power of live video. It is, I simply believe that going live changes lives, and the life that might change could be your own. And you can use live video to funnel clients to your business, to grow and engage an audience, and to establish yourself as a thought leader in a given space. And on the coaching corner, we come aside in the middle of the middle, right? In the middle of the week, right at noon, which is the middle of the day, to take a break from the grind and to be coached in the corner. And if you haven't figured that out, that's me. I'm your coach. I'm excited to be your coach. And I'm unapologetically a Jesus geek. And I simply believe that there is a method to this madness, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to have a long list of to-dos. What we do in the corner is find out the best next step for you. So I want to encourage you to put your questions in the comment section with a Q colon. My moderators are going to help me with that. But I'm going to be sharing, building on the momentum that we launched this past Friday with our masterclass. Our guest, Justin Moore, shared a ton of knowledge, and I'm excited to be able to share that with you as well. I'm excited to be able to recap that with you and go through one exercise that I'm going to be doing with you as my audience, but I am encouraging you to do this with your audience as well, so that you can gain insight and perspective on how best to tell those stories, so that you can get your message across and have it land. Okay, we want to make sure we got some comments. We got a lot of comments coming in here today, so I want to catch some of those. Tracy is with us today. How you doing? Jim Lawyer is here with us today. Says he's here from Wintry, Ohio. Thank you for being with us. I always love to see when people are greeting one another in the chat. Greetings to you as well, Dr. Vibe. Always good to have you. Whoa. George Canellis, it's been a little minute since I've seen you on one of the lives. I'm super excited to have you come through and hang out with us today. Always good to have you with us. I see 604-852 Cafe. So we got two from Canada today. So we got Dr. Vibe, and listen, Canada is well represented. I love it. Gary Jones. Dr. Gary Jones is with us all the way from Nashville, TN. Thank you for being with us today. Oh, my guy, Demolition News from across the pond is here. Hey, Kirk, after 5 years of live streaming based on your guidance, I have been on UK TV twice and on UK radio 3 times this week. You have helped make me famous. Oh, my word. Let's go, Demolition News. Let's go. That is simply phenomenal. Wow, we celebrate you. We celebrate with you today. Listen, we recognize that this did not have to be so, and we don't take any of it for granted. Demolition News has been following the channel for a very long time. A very early adopter of some of the things that I teach here on this channel, and I am super excited and humbled and honored to play just a small role in your success. I don't think I helped you make you famous. I think you did the work, and so I'm giving all of that credit to you today, sir. And listen, this is another really great thing about the corner. We get to celebrate one another's wins. I'm super excited for you, sir. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. I love it. I love it. I see several folks are coming in. I know I've got multiple comments. Dr. Bashara is on the live. Thank you so much for being with us today. I agree. Dr. Vibe says, I agree that brands do not have it figured out. That is where content creators find the need and fill it, not find the need and kill it. Come on. I love the way you put that. I love the way you put that. Demolition News, we are still celebrating with you. Dr. Tachi is on the live with us today. I see Isla is with us today as well. Everyone in the chat, she says, what's up to everybody? Thank you so much for being with us today. Oh my word. Florence is here with us today as well. It's not night. 3 Live Tribe is back. I know, once we saw George Canellis, I was like, what? I think we got it. That's dope. BBC Radio London, BBC London TV News, and Radio 5 Live. That is so awesome. I think that's phenomenal, sir. You are going viral, and I love it. 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 Let me see what else we got here. I love to see the back and forth. Dr. Tashi says, the masterclass was brilliant. I love that. Moderator Salute is in the chat as well. Whoa, Miss Jill. Oh, my word. Bom dia, my friend. How are you today? Thank you so much for being with us. She just took on a position at Ecamm, and I mean, listen, she was phenomenal already, and I'm super excited that her phenomenalness gets to join the phenomenalness of Ecamm, and we're going to see what magic they cook up together. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. Powerful open and powerful prayer. Doc Vibe. I don't know how many of you guys got a chance to catch me live last night, and I kind of shared that I'm not necessarily changing my content. I'm not changing who I serve, but I feel that I have been a little too unbalanced in sharing all of who I am. And it's something that I am constantly coaching my clients to do. Make sure you show up as your authentic self. I always pray before each and every session, but I never do it on the live. Well, that's going to change. And I hope it doesn't offend folks, because, I'm not changing who I want to talk to, but that just puts me in the right space and allows me to let folks know why I do what I do and who it is I serve. Oh, Darren is with us today. I really need to be editing some videos, but I'm here, but here we are. It happens like that sometimes. When moderators are sharing that you got to put a cue, put your questions with a cue, and that's going to help me to see it. David Hunt, one of my artists, says, made it under the anointment just in time. Under the anointment is wild, fam. Under the anointment is wild. Well, we started off by sharing just a little bit of a recap. Of what we experienced during the masterclass. If you haven't gotten a chance to check out the masterclass, y'all, this is one of those rare times. It is one of those rare times that we are making the masterclass available completely, forever, right? So we usually, the masterclass is available for a 24-hour replay. You'll see that is not on the page right now. You just see the Sponsor Magnet Masterclass is there, and you can go to the kirkarnugent.com/masterclass, and you can watch the masterclass today. You can watch the masterclass today. In fact, it will be there. The rest of the masterclass series that you see below, they are all for members. And so if you become a member here on the channel, you can watch it right here on this page. Or if you become a member in the Workers Warehouse, you can actually watch it there as well. There's a price difference between those two, but I wanted to make sure you guys get a chance to check this out. If you have not seen it, there's nothing that we're going to share that's going to be spoilers, but I did want to make sure that this is publicly available. This is something that you can actually check out. In fact, you can go directly to my show page, which is howitallworks.com, and you can actually go right there at the top to the Sponsor Magnet Masterclass. And this question has come up in this particular forum multiple times, and that is, what do you do for your live chat moderators for a live show? Well, this resource has just been created. This is the latest video on the channel, dropped this past Sunday, where we talked about live moderator actions. And so definitely would love for you to be able to check those out if you get a chance. So we're going to be touching on a little bit of that today, and we're excited about it. David Hunt says, I'm going to be driving, so I'm not going to be able to comment, but we're excited that you're hanging out and you're rocking with us today. 23 of you guys on the live. Take none of it for granted. We're super excited to kind of dive in today. I don't see any questions, so I'm gonna jump into some of what I have prepared, because I do want to share with you some things today that I think will be impactful. So when we're looking at storytelling, and especially from the perspective of being a creator and being a live video creator, right? So that's what I am. And I want to kind of break down some things for you today. We went live for today's session, no countdown clock. And for the first 10 or so, where are we at here? Man, we're at 21 minutes. So I don't know exactly how long I spent in that first lead-in section. I think it was maybe 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know. I'm a talker. But for that first segment of the show, I am just looking at the camera and delivering what I hope to be value. In that first segment of the show, I got a DM from somebody recently, and they said, I always come on your live show maybe 10 to 15 minutes late. And so I get there right in time for questions. And, there's always a lot of buzz and different things happening in the chat. It's always dope to be able to be in that space. But one of these times I missed the live show altogether. So I was catching it on replay. This is one of my audience members sharing this with me in a DM. I got a chance to watch the replay of your coaching corner. And so I hit the play button and I went to go and do something. I literally turned to go and do something because I assumed that the countdown clock would start. And when I heard you start speaking as if you were just speaking to me, it arrested me in my chair. I turned back to the screen and I locked in for those first 10 minutes. And after those 10 minutes were done, I stopped the video and went to go and rearrange my content and my life. I was blown away by this comment. I was blown away by this message from this audience member. And the reason why she said this is because it was a completely different experience than what she had seen from any other live show. I want to say this to somebody out there. Yes, when you go live, it's going to take a second or two for your live stream to hit all of the different places. Yes, when you go live, having the countdown clock was relevant at a particular time frame because you did want to ensure that everybody was on the same page before you actually did your thing. And for many, if you are going to use a countdown clock, you want to use it before your scheduled start time. You want to use it before your scheduled start time. So if your scheduled start time is noon, like mine is, then at 11:55, you should be going live with a countdown. Don't go live at noon with a countdown because people are already waiting at that time. At noon, you should be coming off countdown to speak to your audience. And even in those scenarios, you can trim off that countdown clock, at least on YouTube, so that that doesn't become a deterrent to anybody that is actually going to catch it on replay. Or you can do what I have found to be wildly popular and extremely engaging. You just share with people right there at the beginning the crux of what you intend to experience in this particular live stream. And I had another DM from another, this is actually from one of the moderators, somebody who's a close friend. Like I often go back and watch the beginning of the live stream because sometimes you miss, a minute or two of it because it's still getting ramped up. And I just love that concept. I love that concept because in that beginning part, you can actually share some of your story. You can actually share what we're doing here on the live today. You can actually share some of the nuggets that you hope to share in the course of this journey called a live show. And when you're able to do those things, you're able to create an atmosphere already of anticipation. So when I go live, people are already commenting because they know for those first 5-10 minutes, I'm just looking at the camera and delivering. And then after I've delivered, I'll hit my button to play the intro video and I come back ready to engage with the audience. I hope that is something that's meaningful for you guys as well. I hope that is a practice that you can find ways to employ for yourself, because I do believe that is something that you can use. All right, I have a couple of questions. I want to see if I can grab a couple of those. Here we go. Let me see. I think this is one, but I think I saw some others come in earlier. Check out the show page, howitallworks.com is what David says. Says he loves that video. The video talking about moderators. Yes, definitely. That video about moderators is excellent, Kirk. Made me realize just how good mine are, despite me now having briefed them properly. LOL. Let me say, much of what I put in that video, I learned from my moderators. I said one of the reasons why my moderators and I work so well is because my moderators are natural members of my audience. I didn't graft them in. I didn't say, hey, call some random person who's never watched my show to come and be a moderator. I didn't do that. I found people who all generally show up regardless of the topic, and they were able to work with me. And I learned those pieces from my moderators, and I'm excited that you guys, both David and Tracy, are part of my moderator crew, the part of the mod squad here for this channel, and it has been a huge benefit to me. I had a question, but I put a Q. Oh no, let me see. Let me go back up here. That's my bad. I may have missed it. You sure do have a question, and I see your question. I've starred your question. I'm going to grab your question, but I'm going to also star a couple other questions that we have here. What's going on, NA Naya? What you know about it? NA Naya is part of the mod squad as well. Thank you so much for being here. I did wonder what best practice was with countdowns. Thanks, Kirk. Hey, listen, I'm here to help, and that is a best practice. But I'm going to be honest, because I really do value the replay. I value people coming and catching this on the back end. I want to ensure that I don't have to do anything. Now, here's something I want to say this to. This wasn't a question, but I just want to respond to Tracy real quick. When you trim off the countdown at the beginning of your live on YouTube, specifically on YouTube, you no longer have the live chat replay. So if you trim off any piece of your video, even if you clip out a piece and trim that from your live stream so that it's not a part of the replay, anything that as long as you modify that video, your live chat replay is no longer available. And for me, the live chat replay is almost as important as my content that I'm sharing. And so I always want to make sure that because I want the live chat replay to be part of the replay experience, I have completely eliminated a countdown altogether. And it has worked very well for me. So I just wanted to answer that. Okay, now Darren has a question, and I want to get to this question, and I hope that what I shared makes sense. All right, storytelling, it's a buzzword, certainly. I am a fact-based channel producing helpful video on local travel. How do I tell a story about how to reserve a hotel in San Francisco? You know what I mean. So I feel like you've already answered your question. You tell people how you reserved that hotel. So there are the facts of what you're sharing. Go to this website, look for these dates, make sure to avoid this room, maybe stay on this level. If you're noise averse, you might want to go a little bit higher. You have those facts that you're sharing, but you can couch all those facts in your own personal story if you have one. Or you can couch all those facts in individual smaller snippets of stories. I had this friend that went to the hotel and they did this time, and they figured out that the ice is on this floor. So if you're a person that always needs ice, you might want to stay on this floor. I just shared a story along with facts. I stayed at this hotel, and since the last time I was there, I know that they've upgraded this. So that's why I'm sharing that you want to do this and this and this when you go to this hotel. You're still sharing stories. You're giving yourself credibility, even as you share the facts. The facts are actually solidified by the stories. In fact, you may think they're facts, but the person that's listening still sees them as your opinion until you share your story. When you share your story, that's actually when it becomes a fact. That's when it becomes, you no longer can, it's not negotiable. It's not an argument. This is my experience with said thing, and this is how you want to reserve your hotel in San Francisco. This is how you're doing video on producing helpful video on local travel. Sir, your entire content is story. Everything is story, because there's no way for you, because even if you heard it from someone else, you can still tell the story of what you heard from that other person. It's still going to be story based. If I even do the homework, man, I went here, I did this. I even went on ChatGPT. It showed me that these were some of the places. And then I corroborated it by going and asking and talking to different people. And they told me that these are the things that you want to do in this space. I can't wait to go on this trip. In fact, follow this channel so that I can do a follow-up video after I've gone on. It's all story. And I think you have an unfair advantage because you're doing local travel, helping people figure out some things as they travel. I think it's your entire content structure should be peppered with experiences, maybe shorter stories, 2-line stories, and then maybe peppered in there some longer stories that kind of walk people through some of what you have experienced. So I really believe you have an unfair advantage where story is concerned. I think you can utilize it. You can utilize it quite heavily. All right. Dr. Vibe is here, says, Kirk, could you share the journey behind the sponsorship deal? Which one were you talking about? I see you have the question twice. Which sponsorship deal were you talking about? Which sponsorship deal were you talking about? I want to make sure I want to make sure that I catch that, Dr. Vibe, because I have a couple, and I don't want to assume that I know which one you're talking about. So which sponsorship deal were you talking about? And while you do that, I want to catch a couple of comments here. Oh, Demolition News is back, says, funny thing is my audience has an unofficial contest to see who can comment on my scheduled live first. Some of them arrive 12 hours before I do. Listen, Demolition News, it's one thing to enjoy the fun of that particular scenario. I'm trying to point to it. Okay, we'll do this. That particular scenario, but it's a whole other thing for him to recognize that this is why this is, right? The value of it, like that my audience has this unofficial competition or contest to see who can comment first. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And you want to play into that. Maybe even give some prizes for that. Like those are behaviors that you want to encourage around your content, because it really does help. It really, really does help. Thank you so much, Dr. Vibe. He says strong takes on live chat replay. That's it. I agree, Kirk. I have been wondering about doing the same for the same reason. Yep, that's exactly why I've cut them. I'm glad you guys are here. So glad that you are here. On to our next podcast. I didn't see him. I didn't see it earlier. I missed him. I missed it. Oh, there it is. There it is. I see him in the chat right now. There it is. That's the comment I was looking for. Salute to the God in the squad. Thank you so much, OTN podcast. Thank you so much for being with us today. Always good to have you with us today. Okay, I saw your comment. Could you share the journey behind your first sponsorship deal? Got you. My first, okay, so I've had a number of brand partnerships. In fact, my first live show was sponsored. It was sponsored. I emailed Ecamm and I asked Ecamm if they would sponsor my live show. I told them what the topic was, told them who was going to be in the audience, and they said, sure, we'll give, you can give away a free subscription to Ecamm during your live show. Now, they didn't know it was my first live show, but I definitely did do that for my first live show. So that's one, but I don't think that's what you meant. I think you're looking for more of an actual deal. And so one of the things that I did with StreamYard, and that was my first deal. My first deal was with StreamYard. I did a deal with them to create a number of videos that would live on their channel. How-to videos, promotional videos, videos to highlight certain features and functions and how best to use them, and a couple of hack videos as well. Videos on how to do things that the founders of StreamYard didn't even know that could be done with the platform that I figured out how to do. And so several of those videos have a version on my own channel, but StreamYard has those on their channel. And in fact, a couple of them are still some of their top performing videos. So one of the things that I was doing is because I recognized that I was really, I had a lot of followers of the channel who were StreamYard users, basically live streamers in general. So I was covering content of Restream, StreamYard, and Ecamm mainly at that time, but majority of my videos and majority of my followers were StreamYard. And one of the things I really loved about StreamYard is that they had this town hall, and they had this, this town hall every Sunday, and they had this community on Facebook. And so what I did, Doc Vibe, is I would go into the community on Facebook to read posts to see what people are struggling with. And that was one of my ways to be able to get ideas for videos. I would go into the community, I would see somebody saying, man, I really can't figure out how to play background music. And I would go create a video on how to play background music. Somebody would be like, man, I was really hoping to add another camera to StreamYard, but I don't have an A10 mini or switcher of any sort. And I would go and create a video on how to do that, because I had figured out how to do these things and I didn't realize how valuable they were until I went into the community and recognized that people had these questions. So that's one of the things I would do. And I would engage in the community. I would engage in conversations. I would show up in the live shows. I would talk in the comment section. I was a active member of the community. I'm not so much anymore, but I was at the time. And one of the things that happened is my videos started to become recommended in the community. I was not recommending them myself, but as people were finding my content and say, hey, Kirk has a video that says this. And because I was a known member of the community, it wasn't like, hey, this random guy has a video on how to do this. It was like the guy that we've been chatting with in the community, he's got a video on how to do the thing that we've been trying to figure out how to do. This guy that's been at the live show, this guy that's been asking questions and chatting it up with us, this guy here, he's got a channel where he's sharing with people how to do these, crazy, ridiculous processes with StreamYard. And here's the video, so check it out. Other people were doing this. I want to say that a very similar thing happened with Ecamm as well. Other people were sharing my videos. In fact, one of their moderators, Daniel Chi, he created a bit.ly link to one of my videos on how to do Ecamm and loopback. It was hot that he shared it so often that he actually created a link so that he didn't have to type out the whole thing. And he could just kind of share that with people in the community. And so to this day, I'm a big proponent of people ensuring that they get involved in the communities that has a subset or a larger set of their target audience. So I was involved in the community and did a lot of work in the community. And at some point during that time frame, one of the people from StreamYard, because I'd been on their shows and stuff as well, so I was very familiar. They were like, "Hey, Kirk, man, we'd love for you to make some content for us." And that's where that deal came from. So unlike some of the other deals that I've had where, you know, somebody will message me out of the blue, or they'll come to a live show and see what I'm doing and be like, what in the world? I did have an experience. I did have an experience where Ken and Glenn with Dan and Gage, who are the founders of StreamYard, showed up to one of my live shows. And they were like, "Hey, are you using StreamYard right now?" And I said on the mic, "Hey, I am using StreamYard." And they're like, "Dude, I didn't even know that this look was possible with StreamYard. Thank you so much for what you're doing." Those are the kinds of experiences that we had, and I always like to, you know, kind of launch pad that thing. I always like to keep that conversation going, right? So they would make that comment and I would respond back like, "Yeah, there's a couple other things that I've learned how to do with the platform that I'm pretty sure would shock you." And then we got a chance to jump on a quick call and chat it up. But it was out of those relationships that were built, out of those kinds of activities, that I was able to have that meeting with the marketing manager there at StreamYard, and we inked a deal where I was going to create content for them. And so that deal lasted for about 6 months and yielded a number of videos. And then we mutually decided to go our separate ways, because they were really looking for somebody to really be a brand ambassador. They wanted somebody who was going to really kind of forego all other brands and just talk about StreamYard. And I think that's valid for a brand to want that, like, especially in these spaces. Like, you wouldn't want somebody talking about T-Mobile and Sprint and AT&T, right? I think maybe one or two of those have merged, but either way, the point is you want somebody who's going to have brand loyalty. And so I was like, the way my channel is set up, I need to be able to cover content on all of the platforms. And so because of that, we decided to part ways amicably. Still very good friends with all the folks, at least at the time before Bending Spoons took over, but I was still very good friends with all the folks at StreamYard. And StreamYard is still a platform that I go to as people are getting started. You want something that's a lot more basic and simple for them to get their feet wet in these streaming streets. And so I still use StreamYard as a starter platform for people to jump in, get their feet wet, try out streaming, see if it's something that they actually like before we put them into a annual plan or find the right platform for them based on their needs and based on the features and functions they'll need for their live show. So hopefully that answers the question. I know I took way more time than I was supposed to, but hopefully that answers the question, Dr. Vibe. That's a great question. Thank you so much for the question. I've had people comment 24 hours before, but only because they got the date wrong. I love seeing these kinds of comments. Oh my word. First moderator to say first. Winning. You are hilarious, David. I thought you were driving. Okay. What's my prize, David? Oh my word. I have a recurring nightmare that I arrive from my live stream on the wrong day. That's hilarious. Listen, these are streamer stories. These are streamer stories, and I love it. I have totally failed to turn up for one. So embarrassing. That is priceless. Kerwin Bornell is on the live. What's going on, sir? Another moderator, somebody who's been rocking with me just as long as Demolition News. So thank you for being here with it today. That's how I get a lot of my video ideas too, getting into the community. Yep. A lot of ideas come from that. Kirk, thanks so much for sharing that story about your deal with StreamYard. Love you sharing to research that you did. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm excited for that question. I'm excited for that question. The Quiff Institute says the loopback video is gold. Listen, that thing at the time, I want to say this as well, Florence. There is a update of Ecamm Live that Ken and Glenn call the Kirk update, because of that loopback video. All right. And you can almost guess which one it is, but that's That's one of the reasons why they named it that update. So I just thought that was a nice little thing. But I think one of the things that we're trying to say, I missed your question, Darren. Unfortunately, the research in FB groups is dwindling. Meta is struggling a bit. So they are wanting you to boost posts. It's all cyclical. In time, reach will return, hopefully. I agree. And I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, I do not recommend people putting any effort or energy into Facebook other than just making sure you have a presence there, engaging with people there, sharing with people, hey, here's my reel, link to the videos in the first comment, because you want to grow over on YouTube. That's what I recommend people use Facebook as right around now. I got a check from Facebook that was it was a waste of the paper they printed it on. I don't have a clue why they even have their structure set up like that. We're talking hundreds of thousands of views on videos, I should say. And that's the check. So it's a waste of time over there. I'm really not a big fan of people trying to grow on that particular platform. And they keep on changing the goalpost, as it were, as you rightly said. But if you use it as a space to do your research, because Facebook groups is still a very powerful space where people have a similar interest, and you can go into the group and you can share some things in the group, and you can experience some of the you can learn some things from those people who could be a subset or a larger set of your audience. That part is still useful. I see that camera switch looking good on inbox. Just put the fire emoji in there. I love it. Oh my word. You have bragging rights. All right. I see a question here as well from David. Let me just make sure. Hey, JJS Tech is here. I didn't get a chance to check out your live stream from the other night. I definitely need to, and I'm hoping that it's still up, because I know you were testing out those VSTs for the beta version of Ecamm. So definitely want to check that out. David says, Kirk, how come you didn't mention Verizon? Not even as an honorable mention. You actually don't have to answer this question. Oh my word. David, you got no sense whatsoever. I love it though. I love it. Listen, I didn't mention Verizon, not even as an honorable mention, and I did that on purpose. I'm not a fan. Anyway, that's a whole other story for another time. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Do you think that is easier to get sponsorship deals now than it was 2 years ago? I think that you can get a better quality deal today than you could 2 years ago. I don't know that it's easier. I just believe that you can get a better quality because brands have been in this a little bit longer. Creators have been in this a little bit longer. So they have their processes a little bit more defined, still not 100% defined, but they have them a little better defined than they did before. And so I believe you can get a better quality deal because everyone's looking for, kind of open to the idea that this might not be exactly what I was looking for. And that might actually be better than what I was hoping for, right? So I think you can get a better quality deal today than you could 2 years ago, but I don't know that I would agree with the idea that it's easier. I think the work that it requires is the work that it requires. But I also will say that one of the things, if you didn't hear this inherent in what Justin was sharing in the masterclass on Friday, is that we as creators need to value what we bring to the table. You are a video production company in a box. You are that. And you cannot underestimate the technical pieces that you bring to the, like, I'm going to deliver a finished video that has been scripted, that has been recorded, that has been edited, B-roll, music, all of the things, transitions. I'm going to deliver a finished product. That company would have to book space, find talent, script it themselves. Like, you are a video production company in a box. And so your brands and what you bring to them, yes, may be your affinity for what they provide. And so you become a valid voice in the community because you would have recommended it even without the deal. But more than that, you bring an entire video production service to them in a box. And so understanding and recognizing that that is the level of value. That is the value that you provide is something that we sometimes miss. and take for granted in the whole scheme of what are some ways that we could actually engage with brands. I love it. StreamYard is definitely a solid training wheel platform for new streamers. See, I love it. I love it. I love the moderator salute as well. Rocking with you all every day. Return salute. I love it. I love it. But yeah, I couldn't agree. OTN podcast, StreamYard is definitely a one of those, a great starter platform. FYI, I am a co-lead of a team that has had an exclusive brand sponsorship deal with Dove Men Plus Care since 2020. I love that, and I know that you are asking these questions to kind of fan the flame, but I'm excited about your your experiences that you bring to these conversations. Wildly popular and wildly needed. I wonder how things are at StreamYard now. They have clearly realized they screwed up with the badly handled price hike. I don't want to go back, but I might have to. I will say that their prices have changed drastically. They're almost back to what they had before. Restream doesn't tell me when I get a super chat. Ooh, well, I can tell you right now, Ecamm does. So you can definitely check that out. One of my guys is in the chat, my dude, Anthony Corns. What's going on, sir? Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today, friend. How long ago was this comment? Was it a long time ago? I hope it wasn't, because I hope you're still here. Thank you so much for being with us, sir. I see you changed the O in your name to the road. Oh, I love it. Anthony Corns, thank you so much for being with us today, man. Always good to have you. JJS Tech says, those VSTs work well in Ecamm beta. I just need to find a way to monitor them. I had a similar issue. So thank you for sharing that. It kind of validates my question mark on VSTs and some of the audio processing that they have in Ecamm. Yeah, even with that, I created a new FB private group. It was buoyed on the fact of a very engaging thread in a community group about my music genre we enjoy. Okay, dope. I like that. That's awesome. 50 people came on board in this group and it's crickets. Dang, that's messed up. Oh man, Dr. Vibe, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Sorry about that, y'all. We're in the middle of the middle. This is the midweek, the middle of the week and the middle of the day. So if the typing isn't 100%, don't worry about it, y'all. Don't worry about it. Yeah, but I can't use Ecamm. I know, but I just wanted to kind of just throw that out there again. Yes, we still here. Thank you so much for being with us today, Anthony. Always appreciate you coming through. Corns. I love it. I love to see the back and forth. One of the things that we talked about last week, I kind of gave you a bit of a tour of some of the things that have changed in the studio, some of the different of looks that we now have. I think I have a BTS tight one. Yeah, I do. Oh, wow. I can see you guys. Hey, what's up, fam? It's good to be here. Thank you. I love this shot, by the way. It's just one of those that it never gets old. Top down shot is here. And then, of course, I have all those presets that we talked about planned into Ecamm. You know, preset. So this is the host preset. What's good? Host preset, studio right. What up? There's the iCouch is a different set of shots. Let me get out of the way real quick. All right. So this is the iCouch 1, right? iCouch 2. That's the full shot, and then iCouch 3, which kind of zooms in on the person over there. But yeah, these are all presets inside of Ecamm that I'm able to utilize with a Stream Deck. I mean, just literally. Oh man, you can see my scissors. I didn't know you could see that. But those are some of the things that I've been able to utilize. And so last week we went over some of the ways that we have been using those, and you know how we implemented them and why we implemented them, why go with these shots. One thing I did want to showcase. And if I could do that, let's go to, nope, not that one, Let's go to this one real quick. One thing I did want to showcase, and I think it's, nope, not that way, the other way. This is going to be interesting. All right. Almost there. So this past Sunday, I had had a couple of guys come in and install these 2 lights. So I've got 2 more lights above the ceiling, above the set in that's behind me for Incubator's Couch, which is the name of the show that my wife and I do. And so that was a really fun setup. And they not only added those lights on arms, but they also put power up there for me as well. So really, really excited about that. And if you are interested in finding out where you can find some of that stuff, is you can go over to my Amazon page. Go over to Amazon. Let's go to screen. If you go over to my Amazon page, right, you got a number of studio builds that I do when I build out a set of recommendations for a client. I put them here. And so for this, I think it's this one, Brooks Podcast Studio, you'll see here that this mount, this is the mount that I have above me. So those 2 lights that you saw up there, those are the mounts that are holding them up right now. And they actually got a 10% deal, a 10% off deal on it right now. So you're going to get it for cheaper than I did, but it's a stupid cheap price. Now, those lights are not heavy. If you have heavy lights, then I would recommend reinforcing those mounts with a piece of wood on the wall, wherever you're mounting them. But other than that, man, I mean, yeah, this was a cheat code to be able to keep it clean. So, and so I'm going to go back to this shot. Actually going to go back to this one. The point was that I didn't want the lights to be seen in this shot. So I wanted those lights to be out of the shot, but still easily accessible. And the guys that I had come and install them actually connected it to the light switch that's right by the door back there. So I can just flip that switch and those lights come on and I'm good to go. So that's another piece that has been added. And with that piece though, I can say confidently that I am done with the studio. So I'm going to move out of the way real quick. Let's go to the tight shot and let you see what that looks like. I pulled out my headphones. So let me plug those back in. All right, but let me move out of the way so you can see what that looks like. The guys came, installed those lights, and then they also installed the shelving that you see on the wall. And so on those shelves, I have a StreamYard cup, an Ecamm cup, and an EV Mux cup. And I have my Ecamm hat next to the Ecamm cup over there. So yeah, that has really, it made this room super versatile in terms of what I can do. And some of the looks that I can have here in this space. Let me get a couple of comments. Let's get a couple of comments. Host plus comments. There we go. Here we go. Facts. Those StreamYard prices have dropped. Many have made the jump to other platforms. Not smart to call your subscribers bluff. I think that it's so interesting what we're seeing happening. OTN podcast is. It's such a case study, I think, for what not to do. Because honestly, they had the market share and all they had to do was just keep it, but they didn't. And they could have found a pricing structure that allowed for existing customers to stay on the plans that they were at, while they experimented with new plans for new customers that were being onboarded. I mean, who's gonna tell, like, I never go back to the price page now that I'm a subscriber of Ecamm or whatever else I'm a subscriber of, even though I know their prices have gone up. I'm locked in at my price. I'm locked in at the price that I got. So, and I think it's absolutely unfair that they, that they set it up and they did it the way that they did. So they're reaping what they sow. They're reaping what they sow. Thanks for giving me grace. Hey man, you always have grace. Have StreamYard pricing dropped to current subscribers? I don't know. But what I can tell you is if you hit that cancel button, you will be presented with some different pricing. That's what I know for a fact. I debated on whether or not I was going to do a video on it, but their pricing has been shifting and changing so wildly. I include it in little vignettes in different videos that I do and just kind of leave it there. All right. What are the photos on the back wall look like album covers. They're just mix tiles. Mix tiles is what I use. And every one of those photos, Mixtiles, Mixtiles. If I could spell today, that's what that's what I would type in, and you could see that. All right, let's go to the screen. Photo walls reinvented, and what I love now, the latest iteration of Mixtiles is that they have a sticky thing on the back, but they also have a magnet, so you can actually take them off very quickly. Like I can shuffle them around if I wanted to. But yeah, they're not albums. They're just pictures. When I had my live show, How It All Works, every guest that was on the show, we would create one of these, square graphics for social media for them to share and us to share. And so what I had been doing over time is just kind of going back through those pictures and uploading them to Mixtiles, and Mixtiles sends me those pictures, and that has been super helpful. So just so you can see it for yourself, I'm gonna come off mic for just a second and actually walk back there so you can see them a little closer. And the way that I'm gonna do that is by switching to my phone. I'm gonna switch to my phone. And I'm going to do that right now. Okay. And we're back. Yeah, hopefully that was useful to you. You know what I realized as I was looking at the pictures on the wall? Thank you for the question, Darren. One of the things I realized is that two of the people who are on my wall have been in the comments or are in the comments today. So Jill, who I said bom dia to earlier, because she speaks Portuguese. But Jill, who I said bom dia to earlier, she's actually was in the chat and she's on the wall. She's that second one right there. And then Anthony Corns, who I said what's up to just a few minutes ago, he's actually on the wall right there. So I was like, wow, look at that. Some of my former guests on the show and friends, colleagues are actually in the chat today, and they get to see me showing off their pictures on the wall behind me. So that's pretty dope. I always tell people, whenever you're building out your home studio, man, you want to make it your own. You want to have your own touch to it, your own flair to it. Put your fingerprint on that thing, man. It's yours. That back wall right there is something that is so uniquely Kirk. It's not even funny. And so, the How It All Works logo is on there. I have two more of them on this wall right here underneath an how it all works sign. I don't know if you got a chance to see that as I was walking through. I also showed you guys what the lights look like above. So cool that in this room I have that little alcove above there that I can recess the lights into. That was a super clutch. I couldn't have planned that better. And then of course there's the ceiling fan in the middle that has 3 lights on it, and so I do use 2 of those lights for RGB lights, and so that's what casts that blue into the back of the room. And then the third one gives that light right on top of my head. That's my hair light. So I'm just utilizing the room as it is and making it work for what I want it to do. Let me go back to my comments here. Something, so live streaming in 4K, what a flex. What is your upload speed and which streaming platform are you using? So I have Google Fiber here in Gig City, aka Rocket City, aka Huntsville, Alabama. I've got Google Fiber, so I've got 4 gigs up and 4 gigs down. So it's nice. It's nice here. And I'm using Ecamm Live. And if you want to see what that looks like, I'm going to show you live demo mode, and you can see all of the things that make up Ecamm Live. Ecamm Live has scenes. Oh, it has scenes right here. We have the overlays here, and I can turn off an overlay, turn on an overlay. I can turn off a camera, turn on a camera, turn off the rectangle, turn that back on. You know, I have the ability to do all that stuff with Ecamm Live. I'm monitoring all my audio here inside Ecamm Live. I have my guest interview mode here as well that I can use. I don't not using that much anymore because we have Zoom integration, so that's Ecamm Live as well. And you have sound effects like the DJ air horn. Anyway, you have some of those sound effects, and you can trigger all these with the Stream Deck. Then I have my camera switcher, and the camera switcher is especially full today because of all of the cameras that I now have connected. I just have a Finder window up for me to be able to grab files. So I'm using Google Fiber as my internet provider. I'm on a M4 Mac Mini. I'm wired. I'm not on wireless, and I am using Ecamm Live to stream. Hopefully that answers the question. I thank you for the question. All right, there we go. Thank you for the question. I see Anthony Corns is still here, and he says, love it, love it. OTN says, killing it, absolutely. Has StreamYard pricing dropped for current subscribers? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. All right, yes, that's the issue. It's not just the price, it's the total loss of trust. Totally agree with you. That's worse somehow, that you have to threaten to cancel to get their best price. Totally agree. That is not the best way to do it. I spy Kevin Colby. He is a really good friend, and somebody who is experiencing some radical growth in the last few months. I'm super excited to see it. I'm cheering him on the entire way. And yes, you are correct. That's Kevin Colby. That's my guy, man. We are kindred spirits. We are both believers as well. So there's just so much synergy between the two of us. So yes, you spied right, Darren. And look at that. He says, it's me. It's me. Yes, you made it on the wall, Anthony. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, man. It's so dope to have people, even for you guys to like recognize some of the people that are on the wall. Doc Rock, Jillian Morin, Diana Gladney, Katie Fox, Monty Weaver, Melanie Diane Howe. For those of you who have followed StreamYard for quite some time, if you heard me tell that story about them looking for a brand ambassador, actually they went with that Melanie Diane Howe. She was their brand ambassador for years, and such a really dope creator, somebody that I look up to as well, somebody who I've had on my show. She's had me on hers. We meet up at these conferences, and we always have a bite to eat just to catch up and connect. So again, she made it on the wall. But yeah, it is. I do love them. I do love them. Darren says, yeah, very cool. George says those are cool. I asked a question above. Oh no, how did I miss the question? Let me get back up here. Sorry about that, Doc Bashara. Eyes aren't what they used to be. Let me see if I can find this question. I'm just gonna do a search for it. All right, I can get rid of some of these questions, but So Doc Bashara, I put in Q colon, but I don't see your question. Let me see. Let me put in question mark. Let me see if that will pull you up. Doc Bashara. I'm not seeing a question from you, man. Okay, let's just search for Bashara. No, I see where you asked. You say I asked the question above, but I don't see the question. It may be that it didn't come through. I apologize, man. I did a quick search on your name and it didn't come through. So if you can ask that question again, it would be great. So I can actually I can pull that up. Okay, I can pull that up. Okay, those are cool. I asked the question above. OTN says, okay, new goal. I've got to get on that wall. Oh my word. There's plenty more wall space if you haven't seen. Let me go back to this other shot right here. There's plenty more wall space. In fact, let me go to which shot would show that? Which shot would show that? Oh, it would be the PTZ camera. Let's go to that. Let's go to that. Let's go to Studio Right. Is that the one? That's not the one. But anyway, let's go to it. Top down. Yeah. So there's plenty more wall space is all I'll say. There's plenty more wall space that you can you can be on the wall. So what I was trying to show is this other wall over here where my two background cameras are. You see the wide one, which is the Logitech C920 up top there, and you can see the tight one, which is the what is this one called again? The Sony A7 II. Sony A7 II. And just gonna move it a little bit because it wasn't quite straight before. So, but the Sony A7 II. So yeah, yeah. Thank you for that question. Let me go to this BTS tight one right quick. See, it looks dope, but it's, it has that inception effect. It has an inception effect. What's going on, fam? I see people doing this on social media, like holding an SM7B. Like it's so not a mic to be held, but social media trends are what they are. It's so crazy. But yeah, what's good, fam? I love this shot because the shot has my desk in the background. So I do like sharing this. And for those of you who are members on the channel, on my YouTube channel, you have seen some of these videos that I shoot in this direction. Because I do that exclusively for members on the channel. So, but that's a whole other thing to be able to rock with as well. And then of course you have the wider BTS shot that kind of showcases everything. And I don't have on some lights here right now. Let's go to this one real quick. See if I can. So now when I go to this BTS shot, you'll see that behind the TV is blue and behind the thing is blue because those lights were not on. You forget to turn on some things when sometimes you forget to turn on some stuff. But yeah, that's the tour of the studio. 27 of you guys on the live. I hope that you guys have some questions. I do have to roll in about 10 minutes. And so if you have questions, please go ahead and drop them in. Let me see what we got. Dr. Vibe says, I just tried to cancel my StreamYard account. I did not receive any offer to stay at a lower price. Oh no, that's terrible. Happy to have made it on the wall of fame. Come on, Anthony. Listen, you're my guy, man. If for those that don't know, you mean like a neon frog? I love it. And for those that don't know, man, Anthony Corns and I, we go way back. We work together at the same HBCU here in Northern Alabama. He's in Texas now. I'm still in Alabama, but we're family essentially. His son is our godson, and so I'm excited. I'm humbled and honored to have you on the wall, to be quite honest with you. So definitely excited about that. Good Lord, 40 and up, 4G up. That's real uppity. No, 4 gig, man, 4 gig. Listen, I actually was like, yo, I don't need all that. They were like, this is what we got. This is just what we got. Google Fiber said, this is just what we got. George Cano says, really nice studio setup. Thank you so much, sir. Truly appreciate that. Always love having you come through and hang out with us. David Harvey says the M4 Mac Mini is a flex. Amazing value for the price. It is definitely a flex. Let me move this way so I can actually showcase the flex a little bit. But yeah, it is definitely a flex. Uppity LOL. I was struggling with 540p. I searched his name. I didn't see the question, so I'm hoping that he asked the question again. Okay, let me see what we got. The tours of your setup videos you have done lately and that studio you did elsewhere have been so interesting. Yes. So what Tracy is talking about is I have been sharing for members on my channel. I have been sharing tours of my current studio. I did a full walkthrough of the studio. That is a video tour that is available for members on the channel. Also, every time I build out a set at the media ministry where I work, or if I am building a studio for another client, I always do a quick little video, and I upload that to YouTube just for members. So if you've been wondering, like, man, should I pay these $9 a month and become a member here on the channel? You should. You get exclusive access to masterclass content. You get behind the scenes content, setup content. You get the chance to ask questions as well. And I answer those questions just for members. In the next month or so, I'm going to be looking to do a monthly live stream just for YouTube members on the channel as well. So that's something that I've been toying around with. We've figured out a name for it. I'm not going to say because it's only for members. So yeah, that's going to be a whole really cool thing that we have here on the channel. And I want to be clear, YouTube membership is separate from Workers Warehouse membership. Workers Warehouse membership kind of includes pretty much everything. Whereas YouTube membership, we want to give you value here on YouTube, but every dime that you guys share with us listen, you're enabling us to continue creating consistent content. 29, almost 30 people on the live today, and I'm super pumped about it. Wait a minute. My good friend Mary Lou Mando is on the live. What's going on, sis? Always good to have you come through. She says, ooh, jazzy. I like it. For those that don't know Mary Lou, man, you got to follow. She's killing the game. Another dope creator that serves creators as well. And always excited when you get a chance to come through, Mary Lou. Thank you so much for being here. OTN says, the setup is insane. I thank you, sir. I thank you. We like to have fun. Listen, don't forget to like and subscribe to Kirk. The support is appreciated. I want to say thank you to my moderators. You guys always do a phenomenal job. Oh, we got a question. I just checked to see if Google Fiber is available in my area. Unfortunately, it's a no. Oh no, George Canales, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I apologize, man. I didn't mean to rub it in your face. They just messaged me and said I could get 6 gig. I'm sorry. Kurt, bad. That's terrible. No, George, George and I go back. So I can play these games with George. I hope you guys know I'm just playing. I'm just being facetious. I'm not really trying to be mean. Okay, Kerwin Bornell has a question, and then we're gonna shut it down for today. When is the next session of Incubator's Couch kicking off? Oh snap! That's such a great question. So it's gonna kick off the first Monday of March, the first Monday in March. My wife runs this thing called Huntsville Black-Owned Businesses, and so the month of February is kind of busy. As you can imagine. She's got a flip book that's out there right now. There's a lot of things that she's at an interview for the local affiliate of Fox here in Huntsville. She's on an interview right now. Like she went to that interview right as I was getting ready to go live. Only reason why I didn't go with her is because I wanted to come and do this live with you. So month of February is really busy for us, and is by extension for her. And so we are going to kick off Incubator's Couch in March, and we're going to go live the first Monday of every month, but we're going to be putting out content and doing other lives throughout the month as well. That's just that first Monday of the month is going to be it's going to be a live session with a live guest, and that'll be kind of our signature rhythm going forward. First Mondays, we'll have that live show, but then throughout the month, we'll be putting out content. In fact, we're creating a whole new channel for Incubator's Couch. And so you'll be hearing more about that in the coming weeks. especially next week as I start, because I'm going to be promoting the next masterclass, and I'm going to be promoting Incubator's Couch. So you'll hear more about that. Thank you for the question, Kerwin. Always good to have folks who know, they're up on all of the things that you can check out from us. So that is absolutely awesome. What's going on with you, Just Torah? Always good to have you in the chat. Hey, yo, chill with the bragging. Hey. Listen, I'm just, AT&T is still decent. LOL. I do have 2 gig fiber from my ISP, so it's all good, but Google's pricing is better. I love it. Listen, there's no price. There's no price too much for the fiber. On EVMux, do you have to press go live twice to connect to IG Live? There is a 20-second lag before it connects after the other platforms go live. My 30-second countdown takes care of that. So you have to click go live on Instagram. When you click go live on EVMux, it should push to all the destinations, but on Instagram, you have to go to that dialogue. Once you see the feed, you can actually click go live. You can't even click the go live button until Instagram starts receiving the feed. And so I went live Monday night, I think it was. Yes. And I had to do the same thing. You have to click go live essentially twice, not twice in Ecamm, but I have to click go live in Ecamm, and it starts sending the feed to, I think on Monday I was streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and to Instagram. And once I hit go live, about 10 seconds later, I could see the go live button light up in Instagram, and I had to hit go live there. That is an Instagram feature, or that's an Instagram way of doing it. So we don't have a choice where that's concerned currently, but yes, that is the normative behavior. I know, and as you said, your 30-second countdown takes care of it. I haven't really found a way to really take care of that, but I'm not really concerned about replay on Instagram, because you can't keep the replay up there if you're using third-party streaming software, if that makes sense. Can't keep the replay. You can't leave the replay on Instagram if you're using third-party streaming software like Ecamm or EVMux or StreamYard. So unless you're streaming with your mobile device, you can't leave the live stream up on Instagram. So that, and maybe Marilu might chime in because she does more Instagram streaming than I do, but that has been my experience with it. Darren says, thanks so much for your time, Kirk. It has been amazing. Thank you so much for being with us today. Always good to see you guys come through and hang out. 24 of you guys still on the live as we get ready to shut it down. I can't thank you guys enough. It truly, this space would not be what it is if you were not here. I figured so. I asked because of what you said about not using a countdown for live, and I wanted to try that out. So, and that's when so hopefully I kind of round robin into it. I actually figured that that's why you were asking the question. Another great coaching corner. Thank you so much, Tracy. And I hope that you guys are going to join me in just a few minutes, because we're getting ready to have our win session in the Workers Warehouse. But yeah, Doc Basharo, thank you so much for that, and truly appreciate every one of you for coming and hanging out with us today. It has truly been an honor. It has truly been phenomenal. This is what I want to say as we get ready to close it out. One of the things that I shared on Monday night when we went live is that isn't so much that I'm changing my target audience. I just want to be a lot more open and free with the fact that I am a believer in Jesus Christ. I love I'm a person of faith, and I believe that my faith guides everything that I do, and even up to and including the people that I am called and privileged to serve. And I know that doesn't necessarily mean the same thing for everybody. I know that everybody isn't necessarily a believer. I get that, but that is something that I completely believe to my core. That's why they call me the Geek Speaker Preacher. Not just because I always end up on a preaching rant, but also because I really believe that this gospel that of the good news that salvation is free and heaven is now attainable because of the sacrifice made through God's Son, Jesus Christ. All of those things are things that I believe. So that's why I wanted to kind of end the stream today by kind of sharing that with those of you that have been watching. So glad that I was able to catch the live stream. Good to be back. Thanks, Kirk. Thank you so much, George Canellis. And thank you so much, Dr. Vibe Show. I wanted to share that. I want to be, you may see some slightly different things. And I hope that if that's not your thing, you can just kind of bypass it and continue on to the value that we know is there. I promise it will not be something that is a deterrent, but I definitely want to ensure that I am bringing my full unadulterated self with authenticity to my content. I want to keep the faith, Kirk. Otherwise, I'll have to come chase you backside. So under that, guys, under that theme, under that premise that I'm sharing, that this is kind of a new shift that I'll be doing with my content. I opened today's coaching corner with prayer, and we're going to close it out with prayer as well. And so for those that, that prayer is not your thing, no worries. But I'm definitely excited to be able to kind of just share a little bit more of who I am with my audience in these creative and unique ways. So with that said, let's close it out with a word of prayer. God, I thank you for every person that came on this live today. 29 people are still with us right now, and I am excited for every one of them. I pray that somewhere and in some way, as we shared some of the concepts for content creation, for live streaming, as we talked about storytelling and brand deals and EV Mux and StreamYard and Ecamm, as I showcased some of the places in my studio, as we went through and talked about strategy for countdowns and how to start the show and how to incorporate storytelling in what we do. I pray that something clicked for someone. I pray that somewhere someone was able to peek behind the veil, have that light bulb aha moment, and essentially figure out how it all works. I ask God that for every person that is live with us right now, 27 of them, and for those who will watch on replay, that your spirit and your anointing and your blessing would fall down on them in copious showers, because you are going to allow their purpose to be fulfilled in their lives. Be with us, God, we pray, as we head into the other aspects. We've just pulled aside for just a moment here in the coaching corner. And as we head back into the grind, head back into the work that we have to do, head back into the planning, the stresses, the strife, the pitfalls, the valleys, and sometimes even mountaintop experiences, God, I pray that we would go back refreshed, revived, and invigorated to do what you have called us to do. Bless us to this end, we pray, for we've asked it in your matchless name. Amen and amen. And with that, family, it's your boy Kirk Nugent, the geek speaker preacher, excited for all the things we were able to do and experience in this space. We'll see you around these internet streets and or in the next video. Grace and peace, fam.